I came home early because I still believed love could be fixed with small things. Ava had been distant for months, but I kept making excuses for her. Work was hard. Marriage had seasons. That was what I told myself each time she turned away from my kiss, hid her phone, or smiled at a message she would not let me see. So that night I bought her favorite white roses, the same kind I gave her when I asked her to marry me. I walked up the driveway, holding the flowers like they could bring back Ava. The house was quiet when I stepped inside. No music, no perfume, no sound of Ava getting ready. Then I heard her laugh, not the tired little laugh she gave me at dinner. This one was warm, alive. I stopped outside our bedroom door. "Damien, stop," she said, still laughing. "You're terrible." My fingers tightened around the roses. Damien. Everyone knew that name. Damien Vale. Billionaire, CEO, private jets. His voice came from her phone. "You love terrible men, Ava. That's why you keep calling me." She laughed again. I wanted to open the door. I wanted to believe it was nothing. Maybe it was work. Maybe my mind was turning pain into poison. Then Ava said, "I shouldn't be doing this." My heart stopped. Damien's voice dropped lower. "Because of your husband?" There was a pause. I waited for her to defend me. Instead, she sighed. "Ethan is safe," she said. "He's kind, he's loyal. But he's small." The roses fell lower in my hand. Small. One word made 8 years feel like a lie. Damien chuckled. "Small? You know what I mean," Ava said. "He thinks dinner at home is romance. He thinks saving money is smart. He has no fire. Sometimes being married to him feels like living in a waiting room. A waiting room." I had built a quiet life because Ava once told me she wanted peace. I had hidden the real size of my world because I wanted to be loved for myself. Now I had my answer. Damien said, "Come with me tomorrow night. The gala will be full of people you should know. I can't just disappear." "Tell him it's a work event," Ava laughed. "He'll believe me." Ethan believes everything. That hurt because she was right. I had believed every late night, every cold kiss, every locked screen. With shaking hands, I pulled out my phone and hit record. Damien said, "By tomorrow night you'll forget him." Ava whispered, "I already do when I'm with you." I stopped recording. For a moment the whole rose slipped from the bunch and landed on the floor. I left it there. Let something in this house finally tell the truth. I walked to the kitchen, threw the flowers into the trash, and washed my hands. Ava came out in the silk robe I bought her. She froze. "Ethan," she said, "you're home early." I turned from the sink. Her phone was behind her back. "Yeah," I said. "I wanted to surprise you." Her eyes moved to the trash. She saw the roses, then she smiled, not a guilty smile, a practiced one. "Oh," she said, "that's sweet." She kissed my cheek. Her lips were cold. I almost asked who Damien was. I almost played the recording. I almost begged her to tell me why I was not enough. But something inside me went still. Ava had not made one mistake. She had made a choice. Now I had to make mine. She touched my arm. "I have a big work event tomorrow night, so don't wait up, okay?" I looked into her eyes and saw no fear, only trust that I was too blind to see the knife in her hand. I nodded. "Okay," I said. She smiled and walked back to the bedroom like she had not buried our marriage in the hallway. My phone buzzed. It was Nora, my assistant. "Damien Vale's board package is ready. His bonus approval requires your signature." I read the message twice. The pain stayed, but something colder joined it. Ava thought she was chasing a billionaire. Damien thought he was stealing from a nobody. Neither of them knew the truth. I was the man who signed his paychecks. I did not sleep that night. I lay beside Ava while she breathed softly like nothing was broken. Her back was turned to me. Her phone was under her pillow. She thought I was asleep. I was not. I watched the ceiling and listened to my own heart beat like a warning. By morning, Ava was already in the bathroom humming. That almost made me laugh. She had called me small. Now she was singing in the shower, getting ready to walk into another man's arms. I sat on the edge of the bed and looked at the wedding photo on my nightstand. In that picture, Ava was holding my hand with both of hers. Her eyes were wet from happy tears. I touched the frame. "What happened to you?" I whispered. The bathroom door opened. Ava stepped out wearing a towel and the smile vanished from her face. "You scared me," she said. "Sorry." She moved to the closet fast like she needed something between us. "You're up early, I told you," she said. "Big work event tonight." I nodded. "Right. What kind of event?" She paused for half a second. Half a second was all I needed. "Client thing," she said. "Networking. Boring stuff." "With who?" I had stopped so many dress. "Why are you asking so many questions?" I looked at her calmly. "I'm your husband. I'm allowed to ask where you're going." She gave me that small, tired smile, the one that made me feel like a child asking for too much. "Ethan, please don't start. I have a stressful day." There it was again. A door closing in my face. I stood up and picked my suit jacket from the chair. "Fine. I hope your client thing goes well." Her phone buzzed on the dresser. She turned too quickly. Saw the name, she grabbed it. "D. Just one letter." She locked the screen and laughed softly. Work must be important, it is. So important he texts before breakfast. Her eyes sharpened. He. I held her gaze. For the first time, fear touched her face. Then she looked away and tied her robe. You're acting strange? No, I said. I think I'm acting late. She frowned. What does that mean? I almost told her everything. Instead, I picked up my keys. It means I have work too. At my office, the city looked clean. Glass towers, morning traffic, people rushing to jobs, meetings, lies. Nora was waiting outside my door with a tablet. Good morning, Mr. Cole, she said. Then her face changed. Are you all right? I wanted to say yes, but Nora had worked with me for 6 years. She knew when I was hiding a storm. Bring me the Vale file, I said. Her eyes moved carefully. Damien Vale? Yes. She did not ask why. That was why I trusted her. 10 minutes later, she placed a thick folder on my desk. Val Global is requesting approval on executive bonuses, aircraft expenses, and a new public relations budget, she said. I opened the folder. Damien's smiling photo stared back at me, the same man who laughed while my wife called me small.
How much is his bonus? I asked. 42 million.
I looked up slowly. Nora's mouth tightened. It only needs your signature. My pen rested beside the file. One motion, and Damien Vale would get more money than most families could dream of. One motion, and the man who thought he was above me would keep flying higher. My phone buzzed. Ava, don't wait up tonight. I'll be very late. Then another message came. Ava, and please don't call. I need to look professional. I stared at the professional. Was that what she called betrayal now? Nora stood quietly by the door. Sir, I closed the file. Do not process his bonus. Her eyebrows lifted, but she said nothing. Freeze the aircraft spending. Flag all personal expenses from the last 12 months. And send the morality clause to Marcus. Now she understood. Is there a problem with Mr. Vale? I looked at Damien's photo again. There will be. Nora nodded once. I'll handle it. As she left, I picked up my phone and typed back to Ava. Of course. Enjoy your night. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, she replied. Thank you for understanding. Understanding? Yes. For the first time in months, I understood everything. I had 2 choices that night. I could stay home and let Ava enjoy her lie, or I could stand in the same room and watch her choose him with my eyes. Pain wanted the first choice, truth wanted the second. So I put on a black suit, fixed my tie, and looked at myself in the mirror. For years I had dressed simple because I wanted a quiet life. I wanted Ava to see the man, not the money. But that night the quiet man was done hiding. My driver opened the car door outside the Vale charity gala at 8. Cameras flashed across the hotel entrance. Women in shining dresses smiled like they had never cried. Men in expensive suits shook hands like they had never lied, and above them all stood Damien Vale. He was taller than I expected. Clean smile, silver watch, perfect hair, the kind of man people trusted because money made his sins look expensive. Mr. Cole, Nora said beside me. The board has been told you may attend tonight. Do they know why? No, sir. Good. I stepped inside without giving my name to the front desk. A young security guard moved toward me. Sir, invitation? Before I answered, an older man in a navy suit rushed over. Mr. Cole, he said, almost bowing. Welcome. We did not know you were coming. The security guard went pale. I gave him a small nod. Relax. You were doing your job. Soft music played, glasses touched. Rich people laughed too loudly. Then I saw her, Ava. She stood near the center of the room in a dark red dress I had paid for but never seen. Around her neck was the diamond necklace I gave her on our 5th anniversary, my gift on his night. Damien stood beside her with his hand resting on her lower back. I felt something inside me crack, but I did not move. Ava leaned close to him and whispered something. Damien laughed. Then he lifted his glass and touched it to hers like they were celebrating a future she had erased me from. A woman near them asked, "And who is this lovely lady?" Damien smiled. "Ava is very special to me." Ava's cheeks turned pink. "Married?" Ava gave a small laugh. Technically. To her, I was now a detail. Another man asked, "Where is your husband tonight?" Ava looked down into her glass. "Probably home. He is not really made for rooms like this," Damien smirked. "Some men are built for comfort. Others are built for power." The group laughed. My hand tightened around my glass, but I stayed still. Nora leaned toward me. "Sir, we can leave." "No," I said. "I need to remember this clearly. Because someday when Ava cried, when she begged, when she said she was confused, I would need this moment. I would need to remember her smile while they mocked me." Then her eyes moved across the room. She saw me. Her face lost all color. The glass in her hand shook. Damien noticed and followed her stare. His smile faded, not because he knew me, but because he knew she was afraid. Ava excused herself and hurried toward me. "Ethan," she whispered, "what are you doing here?" I looked at her dress, her necklace, her shaking hands. "I could ask you the same thing." Her lips parted. "This is not what it looks like." I almost laughed. "That sentence must be heavy," I said. People only use it when it looks exactly right. Her eyes filled with panic. Please don't make a scene. I didn't make this scene, Ava. You did. Damien walked up behind her, full of pride again. Is there a problem? He asked. Ava touched his arm. Damien, don't. He looked me up and down. You must be Ethan. I said nothing. He smiled like I was a waiter who had spilled wine. This is a private event. I can have security remove you. Before I could answer, a calm voice spoke from behind me. That would be difficult. Marcus Reed stepped into the light, holding a legal folder in one hand. Damien frowned. Who are you? Marcus smiled. His lawyer. Then he looked straight at Damien. And Mr. Vale, this man is not just Ava's husband. The room around us grew quiet. Marcus opened the folder. He is the chairman who signs your paychecks. For a few seconds nobody moved. Even the music seemed to lower itself. Damien stared at Marcus like he had heard the wrong words. Then his eyes moved to me, and I saw the exact moment pride turned into fear. The chairman, Damien said. Marcus closed the folder slowly. Ethan Cole, controlling shareholder of Northbridge Holdings. Northbridge owns the voting block that keeps Vale Global's board in place. Ava's lips opened, but no sound came out. I looked at her, and for the first time that night she looked small. Not because she had no money, because the lie she built had no floor under it. Damien gave a sharp laugh. This is ridiculous. I know every major investor in my company. No, I said quietly. You know the loud ones. His jaw tightened. People around us whispered. A few phones came out. Damien noticed and forced a smile. Mr. Cole, he said, changing his voice. If this is some personal misunderstanding, we can handle it privately. Ava grabbed my sleeve. Ethan, please. Her fingers felt strange on me now. I looked down at her hand. Last night, that same hand had hidden her phone behind her back. I removed her fingers from my arm one by one. You chose the stage, I said. Now stand on it. Room knew who was. That was he long in time. Nora, whose entrance, walked over it in her hand. Show him. The screen toward is chained. Approved. Frozen executive jet usage. Frozen public relations expansion. Frozen. Internal expense review. Open morality clause. Triggered. He swallowed hard. Ava looked from the screen to me. Ethan, what is this? This, I said, is the first honest thing that has happened between us in months. Her eyes filled with tears. You spied on me. I stared at her. That was when I knew she still did not understand. She had betrayed me, lied to me, laughed at me, worn my gift beside another man, and her first real anger was that I found out. No, Ava, I said. I listened. The words hit her harder than shouting. Damien reached for the tablet, but Nora pulled it back. This is company property, she said. He glared at her. You work for me. Nora's voice stayed calm. No, sir, I work for him. A few people gasped. Damien's perfect mask cracked. You can't do this, he said to me. I already did. My board will not allow it. Your board called me this morning, I said. They are tired of cleaning up your mess. His face went red. This is because of her. He pointed at Ava like she was a stain on his sleeve. Ava flinched. I noticed it, so did she. The billionaire she thought would lift her was already stepping away. No, I said. This is because you used company money like a toy chest. Ava is just the mistake that made me look closer. Ava whispered, Damien? He did not look at her, not once. That hurt her more than anything I could have said. Marcus handed Damien a sealed envelope. You are required to appear before the emergency board committee tomorrow at 9. Damien snatched it from his hand. This is not over. No, I said. It is beginning. His eyes burned into mine, but he had nothing left to say. Then my phone buzzed. A news alert appeared on the screen. Breaking. Vale Global CEO Damien Vale under internal investigation. Someone in the ballroom read it out loud. Then everyone started talking at once. Ava stepped toward me, tears running down her face. Ethan, please take me home. I looked at the woman I had loved, standing in the wreckage of the life she thought she wanted. Then I looked at Damien, who was already walking away from her. No, I said. Ava froze. I adjusted my cuff, turned toward the exit and left her there. Behind me, her voice broke. Ethan. I did not look back. The house felt different when I came home, not empty. Worse than empty. It felt like a place where love had been murdered, and the body was still warm. Ava was sitting on the living room floor in her red dress. Her makeup had run down her cheeks. The necklace I gave her was still around her neck, but now it looked heavy, like it was choking her. She looked up when I entered. Ethan, she said. I closed the door behind me. She stood too fast and almost tripped. Please listen to me. I took off my coat and hung it up. My hands were calm. That scared me more than anger would have. What do you want me to hear? She wiped her face. I was confused. No, I said. You were comfortable. Her mouth shook. Damien pushed me. I looked at her. That was her first real defense. Not love, not regret. Blame. He pushed you to mock me, I asked. He pushed you to say I was small. He pushed you to wear my necklace while you held his arm. Ava covered her mouth. I didn't know you heard that. There it was. Not, I'm sorry I said it. Only I'm sorry you heard it. I walked toward the kitchen. She followed me like a shadow. The media is already talking. Damien won't answer my calls. His assistant said he is unavailable. I poured water into a glass. So now you came back to the boring husband. That's not fair. I turned around. Fair died last night in the hallway. She flinched. Then her voice changed. Softer, smaller, the voice she used when she wanted something. You can fix this. I stared at her. Fix what? Everything. Our marriage. She looked down. I smiled, but there was no joy in it, or his career. She started crying again. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I wanted to believe her pain was for me, but her phone kept lighting up on the table. News alerts, messages, not from Damien, about Damien. Her dream was burning, and she wanted my hands to put out the fire. I loved you, I said. She froze. I know, she whispered. No, I said. You knew I was loyal. That is not the same as knowing I loved you. She stepped closer. Ethan, please. We can start again. Something buzzed in the guest room. Ava's face changed. It was quick, but I saw it. What was that? I asked. Nothing. The word came too fast. I walked past her. Ethan, don't. Now her panic was real. I opened the guest room door. The room was neat. Too neat. Then the buzzing came again from the bottom drawer of the nightstand. I pulled it open. A second phone sat under a folded scarf. Ava's hand flew to her mouth. I picked it up. The screen showed Damien's name, but the messages were old, months old. I scrolled. Hotel bookings, photos, plans, jokes. Then I saw my name. Ava, Ethan is too soft to fight me. Damien, then take what you can before you leave. Ava, once you commit, I'll leave him with nothing. I read it 3 times. With nothing. The glass inside my chest finally broke. Ava was sobbing behind me now. I didn't mean it like that. I turned. Did you mean it? She had no answer, because some words are too clear to hide behind tears. I placed the phone on the bed. You were not lost, Ava. You were building an exit. She reached for me. I was scared. I wanted a better life. You had one. No, she cried. I had a quiet one. I nodded. That was the truth at last. My quiet love had felt like a cage to her. My loyalty had looked cheap. My patience had looked weak. I took out my phone and called Marcus. Ava's eyes widened. Who are you calling? My lawyer. No, Marcus answered on the second ring. Ethan, prepare the divorce papers. Ava shook her head hard. You wouldn't. I looked at the second phone, then at my wife. You already did. Her knees gave out, and she sat on the bed crying like a woman who had just lost everything, but I knew the truth. She was not crying because she lost me. She was crying because she failed. And this time I was finally awake enough to let the truth hurt and stay. I thought divorce would make the house quieter. I was wrong. Silence after love is not peace. It is a room full of ghosts. Every cup in the kitchen, every empty chair, every picture frame turned into a witness. For 3 days, Ava did not come home. Then on the 4th morning, she walked into my office lobby like she still owned a part of me. Nora called me before Ava reached the elevator. Mr. Cole, Nora said, calm as always. Your wife is here. I looked up from the divorce papers on my desk. My wife? There was a short pause. Mrs. Cole, she corrected. For now. I almost smiled. Let her wait. 10 minutes later, my office door opened, but it was not Ava. It was Nora. She is raising her voice at reception, Nora said. She says you cannot hide from her. I signed 1 page. I hid my money from her, not myself. Nora's eyes softened. Do you want security? No. I want her to understand a closed door. A minute later, Ava's voice cut through the hallway. Ethan, I know you can hear me. I stood but did not open the door. She kept shouting. I am your wife. You cannot treat me like a stranger, Nora's voice answered, quiet and sharp. Mrs. Cole, strangers usually show more respect. Then Ava said something lower, broken. Please, I need to see him. That word pulled at me. Need. For years I had wanted her to need me. Now that she finally did, it felt empty. I opened the door. Ava stood by the glass wall with messy hair and tired eyes. She wore the same coat from the gala, but now it looked cheap on her. Not because of the price, but because all her pride had fallen off. She rushed toward me. Nora stepped between us. I raised my hand. It is fine. Ava stopped close enough for me to smell her perfume, the same perfume she wore for Damien. I hated that I noticed. Ethan, she whispered, I have nowhere to go. That is not true. Her eyes filled. My sister won't take my calls. My friends think I ruined Damien. Reporters are outside my apartment. Please, just let me stay at the house for a few days. The house is under my trust. I know that now, she snapped. The anger came so fast that even she looked scared of it. I nodded slowly. There she is. Her face crumbled. No, I did not mean it. You keep saying that after you say exactly what you mean. Ava covered her face. Damien blocked me. Of course he did. The man who promised her a palace had left her outside in the rain. I walked back into my office. She followed before Nora could stop her. Ethan, please. You can still stop this. The divorce, the scandal, the articles, the board, all of it. I stared at her. She was standing in my office after everything, still asking me to save the man she cheated with. I laughed once. It sounded strange, even to me. No, listen, she said quickly. If Damien goes down, and everyone will think I trapped him. He is already telling people I chased him. He threw you away." Her lips trembled. "Yes. And now you want me to pick you up." She looked at the floor. My phone buzzed. Marcus had sent an update. Damien's legal team had filed a statement. It called Ava an unstable personal distraction. I handed her the phone. She read it, and her face went white. "No," she whispered. "He said he loved me." I took the phone back. "He loved that you were easy to hide." She slapped me. Nora gasped from the doorway. For 1 second the room froze. Ava's hand shook in the air. Then she broke down. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I touched my cheek. It burned. But it did not hurt more than her words from that hallway. "Get out," I said. That night she called from a hotel lobby. Her voice was small. "Ethan, I'm scared." I closed my eyes. The old me wanted to drive there. The new me held the line. "Call the billionaire," I said. Then I hung up. For a long time I sat in the dark with the phone in my hand. I did not feel strong. I felt broken, but broken men can still close doors behind them forever. Damien Vale asked for a meeting 2 days after Ava slapped me. Not through his assistant, not through his board. He called Marcus, who had learned that doors could close in his face too. Marcus sat across from me and placed his phone on the desk. "He wants 1 hour," Marcus said. "No." Marcus leaned back. "He says he has information about Ava." I looked at the divorce papers beside my hand. "Damien only shares truth when lies stop working." "I agree," Marcus said. "But desperate men sometimes bring useful things." I turned my chair toward the window. The city below looked calm, but I knew better. Behind every shining window, someone was begging, hiding, cheating, or surviving. "Set it for noon," I said. Damien arrived Glenster 10 minutes late. That was his first mistake. He walked in without cameras, without reporters, without the smile that made magazines call him fearless. His suit was still expensive, but his eyes were tired. Power had left his face in pieces. He looked at Marcus, then at Nora, then finally at me. "Can we speak alone?" he asked. "No," I said. His jaw moved. "Personal. It became business when you used company money for your personal life." Nora placed a folder on the table. Damien stared at it like it was a loaded gun. He sat down slowly. "I made mistakes," he said. I said nothing. He swallowed. Ava made things complicated. There it was. A woman he had chased, praised, touched in front of me and promised the world to. Now she was a complication. "You mean you got caught?" I said. His eyes sharpened. "Do you want an apology?" "No, then what do you want?" I leaned forward. "Honesty, try it once." Damien laughed under his breath, but there was fear in it. "Fine. I liked your wife because she wanted what I could give her. She made me feel powerful. She already thought you were." "No," he said. "She worshipped it." There is a difference. His words were ugly, but they were true. I thought of Ava in the hotel lobby, crying, because the man she chose had erased her from his life. Damien opened his hands. "Look, I did not know who you were. That is not a defense, it matters." "No," I said. "It only explains why you were brave." Marcus slid the folder toward him. "Personal trips billed as executive travel, gifts hidden as client expenses. Payments made through shell vendors. We have enough for the board, regulators, and the press." Damien's face went pale. He looked at me. "How much?" I frowned. "Excuse me, how much do you want to make this go away?" For a second I understood him completely. In Damien's world, every person had a price. Every sin had a number. Every wound could be paid off if the check was large enough. I almost felt sorry for him. "Almost. You still think this about money," I said. He leaned closer. "Everyone says it is not about money until the amount is high enough." I stood. Damien stood too. Nora stepped forward, but I raised my hand. "You touched my marriage because you thought I was nobody," I said. "You lied to your board because you thought rules were for smaller men. You are not losing your company because of Ava. You are losing it because you built your life on people staying quiet." His breathing changed. "Ethan," he said, using my first name like he had earned it. "If you sign that termination order, my name is finished." I picked up the pen. He shook his head. "You'll ruin me over a woman?" I looked at him. "No. You ruined yourself because you thought my silence meant weakness." Then I signed. Marcus took the paper before the ink was dry. Damien stared at my signature like it had cut him open. Nora's tablet buzzed. "Board approval confirmed," she said. "Mr. Vale's employment is terminated effective immediately. Final compensation released under contract limits." Damien gave a bitter laugh. "My final paycheck." I nodded. "The last one I will ever sign." He walked to the door, then stopped. "Ava will come back to you," he said. "Women like her always run back to safety." I did not answer at first. Then I said, "And men like you always mistake safety for weakness." He left without another word. For the first time in weeks the room felt quiet, not empty, clean again. The divorce was final on a grey Thursday morning. I signed the last paper with a steady hand, but my chest still felt heavy. People think victory feels loud. They think justice comes with music, fire, and a smile you cannot hide. Mine came with a blue pen, a quiet courtroom, and the empty seat where my wife used to sit beside me. Ava stood across the hall with her lawyer. She wore a plain black dress. No diamonds, no bright lipstick, no proud smile. For the first time in years, she looked like someone who had run out of masks. Marcus touched my shoulder. "It's done." I nodded. "You okay?" I looked at the ring mark on my finger. The ring was gone, but the pale circle remained, like my skin still remembered what my heart wanted to forget. "I'm not okay," I said, "but I'm free." Marcus gave a small nod. "That is a start." We walked toward the exit, but Ava stepped into my path. "Ethan." Her voice was soft, not polished, not practiced, just broken. Marcus looked at me, asking without words if he should stay. "It's fine," I said. He moved a few steps away, close enough to help, far enough to give me space. Ava held something in her hand. The necklace. My necklace, the one she wore at Damien's gala. "I wanted to return this," she said. "I did not reach for it." "You should have left it at the house." "I know." Wind pushed through the courthouse doors as people came and went around us. Nobody knew our story. Nobody knew this woman had once been my whole world. Ava looked down at the necklace. "I sold almost everything Damien gave me. This was the only thing I could not sell." "Why?" Tears filled her eyes. "Because it was the only thing that came from love. That hit harder than I wanted it to." For one dangerous second, I saw the old Ava, the girl who ate cheap noodles with me in my first apartment. The girl who cried when I bought her a used car because she said nobody had ever worked that hard for her. Then I saw the Ava in the red dress, and the memory closed like a door. She stepped closer. "I miss you," I breathed in slowly. "No, you miss being loved by me." Her face twisted. "Is there a difference?" "Yes," I said. "If you missed me, you would have seen me before you lost everything." She wiped her cheek. "I didn't know who you really were." I finally took the necklace from her hand. "That was the problem, Ava. You only cared when you found out." She covered her mouth, but I was not finished. "I was the same man when I packed your lunch during your night classes. I was the same man when I slept in hospital chairs beside your mother. I was the same man when I forgave every cold dinner, every locked phone, every fake smile. You did not lose me because I became powerful. You lost me because you thought kindness was weakness." Her tears fell freely now. "I am sorry," she whispered. For once I believed her. But belief did not heal everything. "I forgive you," I said. Her eyes lifted with hope. Then I added, "But I am not coming back." The hope broke. I expected that to feel good. It did not. It only felt honest. I walked past her and stepped outside. Mila was waiting by the car with 2 coffees. My little sister looked at my face and opened her arms. Without asking questions, I hugged her. For the first time in weeks, I let myself shake. "You did good," she whispered. "I don't feel good." "You will." Months later, I stood in a different room, under my real name this time. No shadows, no hiding. A new charity center opened for people rebuilding their lives after betrayal, debt, and loss. Nora handed me the first donation contract. "Ready, Mr. Cole?" I looked at the line for my signature. For years, I thought love meant shrinking myself so someone else would stay. Now I knew better. I signed my name clearly, Ethan Cole. And for the first time, I did not look back at the woman who had mistaken my heart for a door she owned. Not a small man, not a waiting room, a man who finally walked through his own door.